Hey everybody, this is Peter Palmiotti, and this is day 67 of my 100 days of working on my THEE100s anthology story, and I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to see if I can work straight through. Um, Definitely help me uh, get this video up quicker. So, gathering my tools. Um, so, I called the last episode Daily Habit. I was just trying to think of a um, title for the episode, and I didn't really talk about it in the episode, but it's what the THEE100s is all about. Working each day on your personal comic, and my let's see, this is the right ink. Okay, my schedule has been erratic, but I have been um, consistently working on art each day. Um, yeah, even if I don't post this particular project, working on other things, working on post up art on my Instagram. Um, and it's important. It's important to improve your skill. Like, oh, pretty much every job. It's like, if you just show up and do what you need to do, you'll get better at it. And, I know I'm not a fantastic artist. People enjoy my work, it seems. Oh, kitty cat wants in. Oh well. Um, yeah, I have goals I want to reach, and I talked about finally bringing my creator-owned comic to fruition to kickstart that bad boy. So I'm putting a little time in on that. And it's tough. It's tough doing it day in and day out. You're not always producing your best work, but you'll get there. I'm talking to myself. I am looking towards taking some classes um, when my time opens up a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. But I do want to do more sort of life drawing. You know, I don't I don't have models in town, Uh, I could go to a coffee shop and use regular people as models, but there's plenty of photos online. I've done it before. So let's see. I'll do it again. Okay. So this is tricky a little bit. Just doing a little mist behind the letters. Subtly separate it. Because right now I'm not intending to do gray tones, so it's just going to be black and white. And subtly. Man, it must be windy out. If you could hear the vent from my oven, above my oven, shakes and rattles and rolls. I can hear the wind outside. So this is something Al Williamson. I was familiar with his work. Mentioned him a bunch of times. Fan of his work. He's done a lot of Star Wars. He worked on Daredevil for a really long time. Um, some of my favorite work of his was, I don't go for the sort of alternate reality characters that Marvel develops. It's like, we got Spider Man, but here's another version of Spider Man, but, you know, take him outside what you the normal world of Spider Man, but it's another character with Spider Man type powers and different costume, but pretty much the same character. Well, there was a run. Peter David wrote it. Um, Called Spider-Man 2099, and I gotta say it was definitely my favorite because it was a solid vision um, of the character, and it was a run by a team that was on the book for more than more than 5 issues. I'm not even sure how many issues they did together. And I'm forgetting the artist. It's on the tip of my tongue, damn it. But it was a gorgeous looking book. I liked the design of the Spider-Man costume, and Spider-Man costume is really like pretty much as good as it gets in comics. It's a perfect design. Um, Even though it's like one of those designs that almost anybody can draw the character, and it looks like you can't always tell who the artist is, which is good and bad. Um, Obviously there's artists like Tom McFarlane who it's always apparent when he draws Spider-Man, but yeah, it was a fantastic run, gorgeous artwork. Lots of splashy um, sort of pin-up-y artwork, but it was just a really told good storytelling. I don't love this. Okay. What I'm doing is this shadow is just want to make it a little more consistent, a little darker. I could like a lot of times I'll go for a sketchier, sort of shadowy, cross hatching. I love like somebody like Art Adams, but it's way too consistent in style. Um, right. Just But Al Williamson had a knack of just like, you know, throwing down a lot of feathering lines, like single lines, and it really worked. We didn't have computer coloring back then. Maybe it wouldn't have worked with computer coloring. Um, was just an overall beautiful look. Now, I'm going to do this with brush, but I'm just sort of setting up the guidelines. And cat hair. Where did that come from? Damn it. Got a little blotch. That's okay. Everything can be fixed in post. Imperfections are welcome. I was just listening to somebody, I forget who. Some Marvel inker, I guess. When they were talking about, yeah, I try to ink where, ink away from lines I just put down. Which is the way to do it. Ink takes a little bit to dry. So yeah, these lines are not smooth, um, but it's just a shadowy effect. Where am I? Okay. I'm trying to decide. It's mostly going to be clean up here, but I'm going to throw down a little bit. I like doing dots. Yeah, it's like just thinking. Um, I love doing recorded videos where it's like I edit, but it doesn't have to be too much. It's mostly like to speed up some portions and do a voiceover sometimes. I like doing it that way better. But because I just want to get this one up quick, I know I had some people that wanted to join me for a hangout. So I'm in a time crunch as usual. So this is, I was going for mist, but it comes out more like clouds, which is okay. This just subtly brings the title just a little more forward. Yeah, so I got those shadows to do. Then there's the shadows on his back, maybe a little more texture. Then there's more line work there. So it's almost like you're looking there, and then it takes you there, then so it takes you there, and then you get the final panel there. Where are we going? Yeah, so I'm gonna focus on getting this top panel done, and I'm gonna change my ink. And then I'll do a little insert panel, and then the final bottom panel. Um, I futzed around enough, and we got less than a month to go, so I'm not worried yet, but I do have other projects to get to, other work to accomplish. The tricky part is going to put the lettering down after I get the page done. Might have to tweak the amount of words I'm putting on the page. It's not a heck of a lot of written word. Who is that watching? Oh, Sandra Hope does a bunch of videos on Twitter, and la, 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 la. She's like phenomenally skilled at doing ultra clean lines, and I am too. But if I do if I do certain things on this too clean, it's like I'm almost forcing another style onto what I'm trying to do. You hear plenty of artists speak of, it's like, I drew it, it's a good drawing, it's a good page, but it's not what I had in my head. Um, the way this is coming out is definitely not the way I had it in my head, but I like what I've done thus far. So yeah, doing the video this way will definitely allow me to just upload it and get on to other things I gotta finish. So what do you think of this page so far? Do you think I could do better? I know I can do better. Because, you know, you can always do better afterwards. Alright, so there's that. Alright, let's consider that done. Yeah, I mean, it's like I love a lot of, what I label raw energy artists, and looks it it's blowing outside. I'm looking. Uh, yeah, raw energy artists. It's like I'm really good at keeping things tight and doing them meticulously. Um, but I want to work on making my work a little more fluid. So let's see. One thing I tend to do is throw halos on things. I think I always noticed it in people's work, and maybe I'm remembering things incorrectly, but Chris Picello, depending on who you hear his name told from, um, did a lot of halos around characters and things, and I just like the look of it. It's tight. Okay. So yeah, I wouldn't consider what you see here really on par with a lot of raw energy artists. Think of like Bill Sienkiewicz a little bit. Paul Pope is excellent. Like his stuff is just fluid and flowing, and I guess to some extent somewhere between Paul Pope and Art Adams, but less less detail. I mean, even though this is busy, it's it's not like constructed busy. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it is. So, uh, just about 30 minutes. So maybe go a little bit longer. definitely want to getting that itch. I gotta jump on page two already. Yeah, if I gotta keep up a schedule. Okay, that feels a little better. Make that a little darker. Yeah, it's kind of like the Mike Mignola school of drawing a little bit. Put it on the page, then put all black around it. Yeah, that's one of the things I'm like shocked about my working on art that you know I never really thought I would have, but like early in my career, like the fact that I got to a point where I could really throw down some tight lines. It looks like so impossible looking at other people's work, but it's just a matter of taking it back to daily habit. It's like just a matter of doing it and doing it, and you'll get there. Oh, so the vision of the artwork for my story is a little bit like, because I grew up, reading comics, late 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s were the core of my reading, and majority of the comics I've read. Um, there were a lot of black and white comics back then, and it's sort of that, like, pounding down artwork that has influenced my style here, um, for good or bad. Like just diverse techniques within the page, and good black chunky areas and wide open white areas, and just intricate little noodling, and uh, none of it's none of it's truly slick, or you know um, I don't want to say professional looking, but just there's a sort of garage business air to it that I like. I mentioned Wandering Star was one of the books that I loved, and I used to look at that stuff her pages for hours and hours. Uh, Terry Sue Wood, and part of me was like, "Oh, I wish I could, I could ink this book. I could make it all look much slicker, at least in my mind." And I didn't have the talent back when that was coming out. I think I was in the business when it was coming out. I forget. Um, it's to me, it's like I know I'm going all over the place with my thoughts, but um, you, you don't do something you love unless you feel at a certain level that you can contribute something. For all the comics by indie professionals or um, the big two publishers or any other publishers out there at the time, I looked at thousands and thousands of books, um, artwork, and read the stories, and followed some for long years and years. Um, in my head, it's like I always think, this is really great stuff. But man, if I added my 2 cents to it, it could it could be 10% better. It's like knowing that you can actually contribute something positive to the work. And it's like I never no intention of working on anybody else's book uh, with that kind of mindset, but it's just that applying myself to my own work. It's like, well, shut up and do it. I don't know. I kind of went off a little bit there, but um, yeah, I just love comics, and in the simplest of ways, um, we're all doing the same thing, and you get a thousand variations on a theme. So yeah, we're almost at the 40 mark, and that's definitely 30 minutes of comic making time. So I can go and do some other comic book inking, work on my comic retro. I got Aquaman piece I got to finish inking. Some stuff I can't talk about. Um, Check in with some people might want to hire me soon. The endless day of work, which I love, love, love. Love what you do. So yeah, I'm not gonna finish it here, but I'm gonna go further with that thought. Um, yeah, I have sort of funky. It's actually like kind of just like a smoke effect without it being out and out smoke. It's kind of just some cool lines, different than anything else on the page, and that's like the smoke coming from the fire kind of thing. His eye is a little wonky. Uh, and now I'm making it worse. Yeah, I like to go in messy and then go back and make clean things up. That's that's what I do. Yeah, so now now it looks like he's looking backwards. Anyway, I'll fix that. Man, temperature wise, it's really nice out. You know, I almost always know the weather because my cats are insane. They want out, they want in, they want out, they want in. But yeah, I'm loving to a degree um, this. Not sure if this is what people expected of me for my story in the anthology book. I'm hoping they like it. Nobody's really said anything so far. Um, I mean, like specifically in the group, but as long as I like it, that's what matters. Oh, I wanted to mention. Okay, so this is me finished with what I'm going to do on this page, but let me throw up something cool if I could do so. Yes, I believe I can. All right, here we go. So, can I shrink it? Yeah. This is a friend of mine, Andrew. Okay, so I have a group on Facebook, Creator Owned, if you didn't already know, and um, the cat's shaking the camera. Um, I thought of a long time ago to sort of tweak the name a little bit rather than just Creator Owned. Um, so I had some ideas. Anyway, recently I posted in the group a couple of them and said, if anybody else has suggestions, put them into a poll, and did the poll, and the outcome. Hey, get off the artwork. What are you doing, you crazy cat? Um, and yeah, creator owned comics group was what people seemed to like the most. And I did a quick little cover for the group using that name. Um, it didn't take a second. It took a little while, but it was still me just slapping together a new logo for the group. And a friend of mine, Andrew, I'm not going to pronounce his last name. It's Low something. He's a design guy, and he was like, you know, I could do better. Essentially, I said, go for it. And he came up with this. I used the bottom version for the cover of the group, but maybe I'll use the top version for something. Anyway, I made a YouTube channel um, for creator owned comics. Um, I don't think the YouTube channel would work as creator owned comics group. So I just made it creator owned comics, and I'll sort of put the logo on that, and I'll put the link in the video description. Please go subscribe to it, even though it's a blank slate right this second. Um, but I have intention of, you know, creators making videos that I could put up there, as well as doing a series of specifically creators um, showing their process, talking about their books, interviews with them on their learning curve of writing, drawing, coloring, whatever they're doing. Everything comics, you know, making comics related essentially. And, it's sort of something I wanted to do earlier, but, it's like I'm so busy and I have like currently three moderators, but I'm the only one running the show at the moment because they're all so busy. Um, but yeah, if you haven't already seen the group, the link is down below on Facebook. Go join the group and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I'll try to get something going this year with it. And yeah, if you have a video you want me to upload to the channel, then just get in contact with me on Facebook is the best way. Um, you know, it's like I want to put just a general video up describing what sort of the mission of the YouTube channel is, and from there I'll be open to uploading other people's videos and stuff. So yeah, there's that. Let's see. Let me remove that. And there's my page currently. Um, got a little more there, feathering and whatnot, and whatever I decide to how to finish that one off. Then it's up to the big juicy panel, and then once I get this bad boy done, on to the next. But yeah, I mean, pretty much that is all done. Um, like I said, I'm going to use a different signature up there. Um, but yeah, it's shaping up. Or maybe I'll go with that and just put in white story and art. Um, I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter. It's looking good. I'm happy with it. And it's looking good because I say so. All right, join me again tomorrow for another fascinating dive into making comics. Peace, y'all. Bye.